We're going to start with the food because that's the one where we can save the most money and we can also spend so much more. My weekly budget for food was 25 euro per week. But I blew that budget because I spent 30 euro and 68 pence. The reason is that I went to a supermarket and there's so many things that I wanted to eat because I just arrived in France. But that was expected because you cannot go to France and not eat the delicacy of the country. This is week 3 of my 500 pound budget for 5 weeks in Europe, where I visited Switzerland, Germany, France and Spain, and I think I went to 7 cities. So week 3 has been difficult because I did travel a lot, and you know that when you move a lot, the more you move, the more you spend money. But stick with me and I'm gonna show you the breakdown of how I've spent for that week, how much is left of the budget for week 4, because I haven't bought my ticket yet to return to the UK. My remaining budget for week 2 was 231 euros. And remember that on week 2, I had already bought like the big expenses, like, you know, my plane to go to Spain, etc. But the big item that's still missing is my return flight to the UK. So let's see how I did for week 3, visiting 4 countries, 7 cities. Look, it's been a while. This is what I used to eat when I was a student. Like a ravioli, you know, and it's really good. I'm looking for cassoulet. Can you go to a French supermarket and not eat all the French delicacy that I want? But most of the things were like gone. So I couldn't find saucisson sec, but I'll show you what I got. But like, my goodness, my budget. Okay, that's the bag. Okay, so I've removed this already. The thing is, I cannot cook because they put a new kitchen up. This is for breakfast, dessert, blah blah, bonne maman, Madeleine. This is for my trip, yogurt, lemon. I used to eat this when I was young, a student in France, cassoulet. Come on, you cannot be here and not eat pâté, camembert, even if it's the cheap one that I'm getting. Saucisson à l'ail sec for sandwiches. There was no baguette left and I could not find a boulangerie near here. So I took pain au céréales. One more thing. Oh yeah, butter. Okay, so this is what I bought here for the next 3 days before going to Spain. So that's my food. I can't cook. There's nothing to cook here. There's one thing that kills your budget. It's food. Food, guys. I had to leave so many things. French supermarket are crazy. Oh my goodness, you can't buy it here or anything. So many good stuff. So I'm gonna make myself a sandwich now because I did not eat and I'm starving. So the total expense of transportation for week 3 was Transportation is not that expensive in Europe. This is high because I've had a stop to my Palma de Mallorca. I spent 14 hours in Palma de Mallorca. The video is coming up, so stay tuned for that one. And so I had to pay €8 return to go to the city and back. And also I did pay Uber because I was stressed. I needed to go catch my train to Madrid. And I was not sure when the bus would arrive when I was in Zaragoza. So I had to call a Uber and it costed me €6.50. Right, so for this week, my accommodation was zero, simply because I stayed at my friend Mary's in Zaragoza. I stayed at my brother's, all of that was free. And the 2 nights at the hostel when I was in Madrid, I had already paid it on the budget in week 2. So for this week, budget for accommodation was 0. So thank you so much for everyone who hosted me, because without that, my budget would have been long gone. I am part of Trusted House Sitter. I house sit, but I couldn't find anything. It's good to have friends all over the place scattered. So fun activities, usually I only do free stuff. But when I was in Zaragoza, and it's so cheap in Zaragoza, the tour bus was for me alone €10.50 or €11. And so it's very cheap compared to Barcelona, Madrid, where it's over €20. Zaragoza is so beautiful. The tour bus in Zaragoza was really nice. So do check the live for Zaragoza. You may enjoy it. So on that, I don't count if I've gifted something to my host or to a friend. It's not part of the budget. So I'm not counting it in this budget. So I'm just counting on things that I would spend exclusively for myself. So for week 3, I spent... And what's left for me to spend for week 4? Oh God. Because I wanted to be free to do what I wanted to do. But with that type of budget, you can't be frivolous. But I was. Originally, my trip was supposed to stop in Madrid. I was not going to go in Barcelona because Barcelona is way too expensive for me. That was another extra that I decided to do on the top of that budget. So although I'm going to share that on next week budget, I just want you to show you that with those £500, I could have gone. I went to Germany, France, Spain without a problem, and that was my original trip. But I decided to gamble and add things here and there that were not part of that budget, okay? And I could have booked my ticket return very cheaply. Instead, I waited at the last minute to buy the ticket, which costed me a lot more money. And also, I mean, a lot. Yes, if I took it a lot earlier with EasyJet, I could have gone away with very little money. The flight back to the UK was unnecessarily expensive because I did not plan it well. Because I thought if I find a house sit, I could have extended my stay in Spain. That wouldn't be part of this trip, but I would have just stopped the trip there and then stay now for the rest in Madrid or somewhere in Spain because I want to practice and learn Spanish. So I gambled. I couldn't find a house seat, but I stayed. But I still went to Barcelona. Anyway, all of that is coming up in week 4. So the last week of our budget. I'm going to make a video about my mistakes, the mistakes that I did that costed me extra money during that trip. And also, as you can see, I overspend on transportation for convenience and also food for just pleasure, right? Which is also part of traveling. So for week 4, don't miss it. It's another story because I will go to Barcelona, and Barcelona is really expensive. So we'll see if I manage to stay on budget. If you also want to be a budget traveler, because it takes a lot of discipline to be able to travel on a shoestring budget. Is doable, but you have to be really diligent and disciplined with your budget. If you don't know me, I'm Jazz. I'm a 50 years old budget solo traveler, and I'm also a backpacker. Yes, you can be a backpacker when you are 50. And on the channel, I encourage you, right, to live boldly, to go live your dreams and not just dream them, to reclaim your freedom through traveling. So if that inspires you, subscribe. We are close to reaching the 1K, so be part of the community. And thank you for being here. If you haven't watched the previous video, I invite you to watch this now. It's a playlist with all the videos that I've done regarding that challenge. I hope you enjoy it.